What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping in with all the Destiny 2 news and updates. Bungie drop an update regarding their live service support over the holiday period, we'll talk about that, as well as the final update for the year, as far as we know, coming up at the weekly reset with a bunch of changes to progression, rewards, and activities. Additionally, we'll speak about some upcoming hidden weapons, the next live event for the game after Dawning, which will be Arms Week, additional updates regarding the dungeon launch weekend, Renegades Easter eggs, exotic mission loot which has been made obtainable again, and a bunch of other things. So if you guys enjoy the video, help us out with the algorithm and let us know the number one thing you'd like to see in Destiny 2. But otherwise, let's get into it. Some updates initially. DMG said 2 more TWIDs before the winter block break. That means we get 1 more TWID next week. But he adds we won't be radio silent, the operations center will keep the lights on, and comms will still be active in case of issues or having some fun during the Dawning. Additionally, we will still get updates from the Destiny 2 team over the holiday period as necessary, although I imagine it will go at least a little bit quiet. Separate thing from the other day, I saw a bit of noise about this, but Destiny 1 players reported that their accounts had been deleted after server maintenance that we had. In case you think you were affected by that, just bear in mind, the issue was resolved. I'm guessing it was just a server thing. So I don't think anyone's lost anything, which is good. In other news though, Bungie posted a banner in the portal is incorrectly proclaiming that the Equilibrium dungeon is out today. This was on Friday, of course, and Equilibrium contest mode will be available December 13th at 9 AM Pacific. Sorry for the confusion. However, it's a bit more complicated than that. Ultimately, in connection with it, I suppose, data miners have shared the actual maps for the new dungeon. So basically, the files for the dungeon were not encrypted in the way that they often are for raid and dungeon content, and that's enabled folks to actually load them into Blender, which is the 3D application that allows players to open the game files for Destiny and basically move around them just like they were in the game. And so that means the dungeon has essentially leaked in some capacity. I'm not going to go into spoilers right here, by the way, but apparently inside of these files, there are dev notes that potentially indicate some of the mechanics for the dungeon. It's also given them a good idea of the kind of pathing through the dungeon, different areas, and a handful of spoilers that do have the potential to actually impact the dungeon race in terms of players having an early idea of what we might be doing in there. So obviously that is very much not ideal. It's a lot of stuff that, to be honest, I don't really understand. I haven't looked into it a massive amount, but while I don't want to blow it out of proportion, there are a lot of people who are concerned this will affect the dungeon race. So that's all I can really say on it for now. Pretty big leak, really. But again, whether it will affect the race specifically, we will just have to wait and see. As we look to next week though, alongside the launch of the Dawning, we're going to get an additional game update. The first change is that Bungie are deploying a fix which will significantly increase the Cyan Crystal's drop rate from exotic contracts from Tuesday, December 16th. So if that's one you're hunting, hopefully it will get easier. Otherwise, that's when we'll also see changes to the Fire and Ice exotic mission, reducing the time required to interact with the pyramid activators in the boss arena to 1 second. They're also changing the platforms in the boss arena to be solid on legendary difficulty, and they're adjusting their positioning to offer more protection on both difficulties. There will additionally be a fix for the issue blocking players from earning the upper hand or hyperblade catalyst for the Praxic Blade, and again that will drop on December 16th. The other change we currently know about is that Bungie will re-enable the Conductor's Keep Master Conquest following a fix in that update. And of course that will additionally load the Dawning in, which is getting a snowball fight PvP mode, which is interesting. Otherwise, lots of cookie baking. And frosty new weapons will arrive. In relation to that, Destiny Rising will see the Dawning event too, which kind of makes sense, but I guess I wasn't really thinking about it. Does anyone still play Destiny Rising? Let us know in the comments section. Other quick updates though, Bungie say for Vanguard alerts in Fireteam Finder, they are aware of an issue where some of them are not present in Fireteam Finder, but players can get around this by clicking on the Vanguard alert activity, hitting the Find button underneath the player's emblem, and either searching and joining or creating a list in Fireteam Finder. And of course those alerts are totally worth running for pretty easy tier 5 loot on the most part. Obviously the GM variant, more difficult, although I kind of like having a quick play playlist of just shoot stuff activities back, reminiscent of the old Vanguard Strike playlist, I guess. Potentially related to that, there are a bunch of ciphers in the game which have been added. We can see Crucible and Fireteam ciphers, as well as an Iron cipher, obviously coming up for the Iron Banner, and then a Pinnacle Ops cipher, which are actually our old Vanguard Nightfall ciphers. So if you look in your inventory, if you had any of those Nightfall ciphers, they've been renamed as Pinnacle Ops ciphers. Bungie had said a few months ago that they actually had a plan for these ciphers, but at this precise moment, while they've been updated, they're not currently usable. So obviously something that's coming up in the near future. Beyond the dungeon launch and the Dawning though, I believe in January Bungie have said we will see the return of the Arms Week event, and there are a handful of holofoil weapons actually hidden for this season, which includes the Heron, a new void aggressive glaive, and the King Orfeo, which is an arc precision frame bow. You can see the kind of holofoil skins for them, which there are a handful of different varieties. And looking at the new Arms Week event engram, we'll be able to earn both the bow and the glaive from the upcoming Arms Week event in January. There'll also be that initial calibration quest asking us to get kills with bows that will award us with some exotic bow mods. So there are things like shatter shafts, where arrows and bolts split into several projectiles after a short distance, kind of a spread shot bow type thing. There's also jump shot, where drawing the weapon in midair triggers increased damage, faster draw time, improved target acquisition, and faster movement speed for a short time or until you touch the ground. And then there's tungsten bowstring, which deals increased damage at the cost of draw time and handling, but additionally releases an elemental explosion matching the weapon when fully drawn. And the King Orfeo bow in general actually looks kind of cool. It's got a bunch of the arc perks, but also can do combos like Archer's Tempo and Mega Neura, where precision final blows create an elemental damage explosion that deals more damage based on the number of precision hits dealt beforehand. And that's an old Pinnacle weapon trait now added into the general pool, so kind of looking forward to getting our hands on those, and I definitely really like those superheated kind of orange glows on these weapons, although I'm not sure when that particular holofoil will actually become available. Otherwise, as we mentioned the other day, there are a handful of Easter eggs, of course, as well as secrets in Renegades, and I posted a video about how you can get yourself a miniature brig in the Lawless Frontier. It's pretty hilarious, because with those tiny legs, the brig is running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. However, outside of being tiny, it is a fully fledged brig, which is still pretty powerful, and there's a secret on the Adamant map that you can interact with to actually spawn that in, so if you want to check that out, I'll link the separate video down below. Also, if you missed out on any old exotic mission weapons for missions that are now featured in Pinnacle Ops, things like the Avalon mission for the Vexcalibur, that will drop the weapon and its catalysts. Plus it's the same for Derealize, which has been added back in this update, if you want to pick up the Baradiad and its upgrade. So if you've missed out on those previously, they are now available via the Pinnacle Ops versions of those missions. A final quick update here, but regarding Marathon, very briefly, or in connection to it at least, with the stolen art drama we had a few months ago that kind of got Bungie into a bunch of trouble. Anti-Real, who was the original artist that called Bungie out for this, posted that the Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction. So they've settled the issue one way or another. We don't know exactly how it's been settled. I guess it's not necessarily any of our business, but Anti-Real is happy with the situation. Additionally though, Marathon Runner armor sets are actually hiding in Destiny 2 as Eververse sets, so we can see them right here. Obviously, this means that Marathon is probably going to release inside of this particular season of Destiny, which lines up with the expectation that Sony have been putting out, saying that it would be inside of the 2025 fiscal year, which ends in March. So I think quite soon we're going to hear more about Marathon, and obviously when it drops or leading up to the actual release, Bungie will drop these armor sets in Destiny 2 as well. So that is going to be interesting, and as we know, Destiny will also get its first major update of this season in March, right at the beginning of the month, on the 3rd, so 2 and a bit months before another major update to Destiny. And in the meantime, of course, we have the Dawning, then we've got Arms Week, we'll probably see Iron Banner, and we will also see the return of Guardian Games in March, probably shortly after the major update goes live. So that's the event roadmap and the kind of short term, or mid-term maybe. I also think we'll be looking at after March before Bungie get us that roadmap regarding the future of Destiny 2. Although, when they last spoke about it, the indication was still that we will be getting another couple of expansions inside of the Fate Saga, the next one listed as Shattered Cycle. Although players do consider that possibly there could be a delay in the expansion rollout next year, if Bungie want to fix or change a bunch of systems, you know, like around the portal and the gear and everything else, before we get to it, but that's probably a different conversation. And of course, for the moment, absolutely nothing is confirmed, so we will just have to wait and see. Have fun this weekend if you are jumping into the dungeon. Let us know in the comment section. I'm most interested in the legendary stuff to see what the armor set will do and grab a few of those legendary weapons. So let us know if you'll get involved as well down below. For the moment, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating and a comment would really help us out on the channel. Be sure as well to hit subscribe if you are new and you want to keep up to date. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.